Stop and get a haircut.
Call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Convene as Board of County Commissioners. Take a motion to approve the agenda. Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that?
Who made the motion?
Me.
Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passes. Public forum. Take a motion to go into executive session per SBCL 1-25-2, regarding personnel matter.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Second.
Got a second. Any more discussion? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passes.
Do you want me to send the first one?
No, we're just gonna talk in seconds. They'll come out of executive session at 10:05. Number 7, consider motion to appoint full-time custodian. I take that, a motion for that. Hire,
I'll make a motion to accept Lewis Smith's application for custodian.
okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that?
Louis Schmidt.
Yes.
Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Yes, Becky?
Is there a start date?
2 weeks.
Is the wage?
$15.96.
Okay.
It'll be 2 weeks from Monday, right?
Yeah. On Monday.
Last Monday or?
No, this coming Monday.
It's coming.
Okay.
So we'll have to
It'll actually be
ask Leah to,
September 7th.
August 31st?
Yeah.
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 we'll have to ask Leah if she can still do it for the time being. All right, we'll go to number 8, budget discussion.
Here you coming up here, or
I have not talked to him. He's supposed to.
somebody want to give him a call? And
I think no.
We look for Kevin.
My agenda, isn't it?
I don't need those. I have copies. in the office.
Or you want them for disposal?
Hey, are you coming up to the budget meeting? You're feeling, you probably won't make it then, will you?
He's gonna have to.
Okay.
He's gotta be here so he can get this.
Yep, just 1 minute. Okay.
The services and fees budget is $15,000 as requested. if we're gonna do contractorship next year, and especially if we bring consultants in to, design road projects, I think we could raise that to 200,000. And if not more. And, as far as the equipment updates go, we're in dire need of a semi-truck update. And that grader situation is gonna continue to be a fucking mess.
I know that.
Cause I talked to Chad Morgan and I told him that.
Did you know you're live and on the, did you know you're live and on the record here?
Are you at the commission meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So don't use the F word, right?
Right.
Trick. So, as far as the graders go, Chad Morgan is saying that even if we ordered one today, we wouldn't have it by January, February of next year. So, we're behind the eight ball on that thing too. So the equipment replacement funds, historically, I know what happens is that you try and model the previous year's budget so that the public doesn't beat yourself to death. Why are my taxes going up? The time has come when your taxes have to go up. Or an alternate source of revenue has to be achieved. I guess what I'm saying at 1.8, if we're gonna, we've got if I'm not crushing any gravel this year, just to make sure we don't go into red. And, anytime you hold something back until the following year, you're just digging a hole.
Yep.
And that hole is getting to where we can't see out anymore. As far as that salary thing goes, I didn't make any changes in the salary part, because in my opinion, there was a full-time and two part-time in there. That's why I left the salary numbers alone. So is today the final?
I think so.
Yes, Becky.
I have to put it in the paper today, send it to the papers, but you guys can still make changes until the meeting, the second meeting in September. But we just have to list every change made in
Did
the
you get
minutes.
that?
Has to be in the paper today.
Yeah, but we can make changes till September, but then it's gotta be listed in the paper.
All the changes.
Can you people tell me, is the highway department solely funded by license plate sales and wheel tax revenues?
That's what I understood for the last several years. That Penny did not get any money out of the general fund.
And I think you're probably capped out on the wheel tax.
Yes.
And, that secondary road account was 800,000. Somebody in the near future is gonna have to determine what we're doing in the city of Mowbray. These streets are a total frickin' wreck. They're past maintenance. And that's what we're doing today, is filling potholes on 3rd Avenue West.
Uh-huh.
And a few on 12th or not?
What's that?
And some on 12th or not?
We're gonna be doing all of Mowbray.
Okay.
The airport road going east to Chris Lips, is past repair. That's gonna be at gravel and mill. If we're gonna do all these projects, are the STP funds thrown into the operating budget? Are we using them on maintenance?
No. Becky's shaking her head no.
Penny always would tell me what she was designating those funds for.
I didn't catch that, Jimmy.
Penny would always tell Becky what she's gonna designate those funds for.
And normally those funds are used, normally they'd be banked and on a management part, once you bank $500,000 or $600,000, you better have a project set for the following year so you don't get dinged by having too many revenues in there.
Uh-huh.
It's my job to be there, people, but I told the guys I'm getting beat to death on these potholes on 3rd Avenue, and everybody else has an assignment, and we're providing the public with a service.
What did you say you wanted for major equipment?
We really need to update a semi-truck. And if we had a pot of gold, we'd be updating that other mower tractor. And there's a host of stuff that could be updated if the funds are there.
But what are you
Now,
talking?
if you're like you've indicated you're solely operating on wheel tax and license plate revenues, do you really want to go in and start robbing from county general to support the highway department or the highway system?
But Gary, what were you thinking when you said upgrade a semi? Are you thinking one of them is getting tired or getting a third one? Is that what you're meaning? I don't.
The Sterling, when I bought the Sterling, Scott, it was a cheap unit.
Yeah.
And my mentality back then was put a new truck into the system and retain it for 3 or 4 years and sell it with good value. Now, Sandler's saying there's a vibration. He thinks it's in the power divider, and we're not shutting those things off. They're running pretty steady. Plus, Jensen's is still in the fleet. They're hauling today and tomorrow. And I think in all reality, with the chip sealing, we could be into Jensen's for $250,000 to $300,000 at the most. All of that is not services and fees. The chip sealing factor would be. The rest is the oil for our chip sealing is $119,000. And that's if we chip seal 12 miles, and that's what I'm kind of thinking about. And there's a voucher for $140,000 for the past work that we've done with them. And we keep accruing expenditures by keeping them involved,
So what do you think we should move your major equipment up? You got $350,000 down. Is that gonna cover a grader and the semi or no?
No. Grader, I think we're looking at, I think Temple County just bought one. Didn't have all the bells and whistles. I think Chad said that was $305,000. On a revenue source, the oldest one, James's, that has $150,000 value to it yet on a buyback. Unless that additional, I can't remember what he did, $7,500. I think that was projected that would get us to December. And we'd have to make a move or lose our buyback.
So
I don't see having $300,000 left even. Maybe with the 150 coming back on the buyback, that leaves 180. No.
Yeah, 200.
What'd they say?
200.
350 in equipment updates. If we get 150 from the sale, we're down to 200,000, and we've already spent 115 plus 95. We've already spent like my mind's going crazy, people.
210.
210.
Yeah, and just to make sure that obviously I don't want to see us go over the budget. And obviously I've made comments that after 1.8 it's on you guys. And I'm still operating on I want to stay within 1.8 so that we're not overextending. That might be out of the possibility with the damages we've incurred this season. So what do you guys think? You want to tap into county general?
Not too bad.
I don't know if we can afford to do that.
Yep.
Gary, I got a question for you. The 115 and 95 you've already spent, is that coming out of next year's budget?
That's out of this year's budget, Miriam. We spent 115 on that mower tractor, of which 20,000 came back on receipts.
Okay,
So that's the 95.
okay,
And I think we provided 20,000 in cost share for that drop deck trailer.
yep,
So you can consider in your mind you can consider that revenues received, but in reality you look at the expenditures. The expenditures were 115 for the tractor and 20 for the drop deck trailer. So we've technically spent 135 of 350,000.
okay,
So that leaves 215,000 remaining.
yes, about 215, 216.
But you can move them funds around. You have to have this mentality that holy shit, Gary projected 70,000 in asphalt material for blade laying, and I'm pretty confident that got to 125,000. And I projected, I can't remember what I really projected, but if the county was going to chip seal 9 miles of asphalt roads, I had that in my projections. And so the reality factor is the Jensen 35 cents a square yard doesn't really impact the budget if it was projected. Am I making any sense?
Yep.
So, Gary, just if we were to look at, we're gonna have, my understanding is we're gonna have some dollars left from this year's budget because we can't get them spent. Because you said that
This year's highway department budget?
the equipment budget,
Yeah, see, I projected, I think 70,000 tons of gravel crushing. And here again, just to make, as we get into the, September, October, take a peek at the projection stuff. Then obviously number one, then I'm gonna be looking at, doing some gravel crushing to spend it down so that we're not continually in this hole. I am pretty confident that I don't want to go over 1.8, but if we don't buy any more equipment, if I don't crush gravel, like I said, round about that October time frame, we'll take a look at the numbers and do a reprojection of where we're at, and then make sure we spend off that 1.8. I'd
Gary,
like to say I'm going to stay with okay, but, there's a lot of work to do, so.
Well, Gary, are you looking at a new truck or what's in your mind there?
I haven't had an opportunity to really think about it. Off the wall, I made a comment to somebody the other day, I think it was one of the Jensen guys. We need to update a truck. And, I said something about 125 and he goes, Gary, you're not gonna get there at 125. I'd be more than comfortable with a good used unit.
I mean, if you got a truck, then
That new stuff is all that engine emissions crap, and, anytime you have that engine's emission stuff, and if it's not under some kind of warranty item, you gotta have a mechanic that can, or else we're spending money out the window for the service department, so.
but I mean, if you're looking at a new truck, then am I looking at it wrong? Then you'd almost need a trailer, wouldn't you? If you're going to keep both other trucks, wouldn't you need a trailer too then?
Micromanagement,
I'm just curious.
We could buy another trailer,
Okay.
but in reality, it's a pain in the ass if the semi trucks are continually hauling gravel on the road to make improvements to the highway system, and you want to commit to total production with the semis and the trailers. Anytime you take that truck off to put it on the trailer or the lowboy and move equipment, it takes time away. But what I was kind of thinking, we probably wouldn't surplus one of the older units, and that unit could provide a utility truck for moving equipment. With an option down the road, maybe put another trailer on it, but I'm not all into that. If we've got 3 semi trucks with trailers, that means we're going to have to increase staff numbers.
Okay, you answered my question.
So are you thinking, if we go to like a good used semi, and then also the grader, you'd be looking at roughly a $400,000 budget request instead of the $350 for equipment, or?
It would be extremely nice if, I think it's a grim vision, but if I could micromanage the expenditures in 2020 to allow for a couple $100,000 remaining in the budget, then I'd be looking at buying a grader this year if we could get our fingers on one. That way we're solving one of those grader situations. Looking back, it wasn't worthy at the end of fiscal year 2019 that it looked like there was $200,000 left in the budget. My comment then was that I knew there was some expenditures coming, and it's not a bad thing to have $200,000 left in a budget. That's money that you didn't spend that's available, so you're not searching for it. Okay? If from what Penny was saying and what the girls were saying, if we would have done the transfers, that budget, the ending budget number would have been around 50 to 60,000. So that's kind of a gray area. Was there 200,000? If there would have been transfers made from the different categories, so if you can kind of understand what I'm trying to express, that we're on 3rd Avenue West, and one of the ladies came out and said, when are you going to fix my road? And this is stuff that's got to be dealt with by the county commission and the highway superintendent on the administrative side. Third Avenue West, as long as the utilities are in place, should be city streets. And most of the damage on Third Avenue West is where the city has done repair to infrastructure. Had a water break and had to dig it up, and the settlement occurred. We've got a long ways to go. I really don't know what to tell you guys. I'm micromanaging. Obviously, I'm filling potholes today, so I'm micromanaging. And I'm micromanaging to a level where, so this, we're in a freaking hole. Did I say that?
Yes, once again.
We're in a deep freaking hole, and we gotta dig our way out.
I don't have any.
So number-wise, on your budget, you got $350 for major equipment for 2021. We want to leave that at $350?
If we, you know, I've done this for a lot of years. Highway superintendents come to the county commissioners with a budget request, and ultimately it's in the hands of the county commissioners, and it's like, I could say I'd like to see that operating budget at $2.5 million. Guess what? You guys aren't gonna find that additional $700,000, and it's gonna be back to 1.8 again, and we're still trying to maintain an infrastructure that's in need of major repairs, but an unwillingness to find the money.
Gary, you're losing me a little bit here, going around and around in the circle here, but, what plans do you have to spend this money? That's what, I don't see any plans on where this money is gonna be spent.
Because the 5-year road plan hasn't been established yet, and everybody is involved in a 5-year road plan. I need to get on that soon, but I haven't had time to do that. 5-year road plan could be, are we going to reconstruct 3rd Avenue West in Mobridge? If I gravel by Jason Burns', we've already got gravel on the wet water plant road. Are we going to mill that this year? Or are we going to mill it next year and do improvements? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm waiting for you to decide which way we're gonna go.
What's that?
That's what I'm waiting for, is for you to tell us which way you wanna go.
I'm thinking there's no money in the budget this year to do it.
So what do you need in the budget for next year to get this stuff done?
An increase in the budget, so that we can update some equipment, we can crush gravel, we can get back into a system where it's managed appropriately.
So which numbers do you need moved around where, so we can put this in the budget? Right
You
now,
said you're gonna finalize it in September, right, Becky?
Yep,
Last
September 22nd, I believe it is.
And it's August, what, 10th today, 12th?
11.
11th, you're close.
Can I work with the highway department commissioners between now and the week before you make it final and get some actual numbers?
Yes, Becky.
The only thing negative about that is we're gonna be publishing it the way it is, and then we're gonna make changes to it. but other than that, we can.
We just have to publish the changes.
Yep.
Cause right now, Gary, you got for services and fees for 2021 of 19,000, but you're talking 250 to 300,000.
If we have the contractors come in and do, some of the necessary work that needs to be done. I.e., are we gonna continue to have contractors come in and haul gravel for us? That is services and fees. On the engineering side, if we, over the course of the winter, if we target a road segment, for reconstruction, number one, is there STP funds in the account that we can utilize for a local match? And that's why I was asking, are the STP funds in the operating budget, or is there a reserve specified for STP funds that we can tap into? If we have no reserve funds and we start looking at just because I'm in Woodbridge, I'm talking 12th Street. Are we gonna get involved with road reconstruction? Specifically, we could say that the KO road out there, that thing is a total freaking disaster. That means gravel over the top. That means full depth reclamation. That means recompaction. That means the possibility of priming it with a map. All these kind of factors are projects that could be considered for next year, and that would mean engineering fees would have to be in the services and fees budget.
So what do you want to move the 19,000 that you have in the budget right now for services and fees for 2021? What number do you want to see put in there?
I think you indicated when we first started talking 200,000.
Yeah.
If we're gonna continue to use the contract labor.
I don't think there's an asphalt road with exception to the really good ones. Say for instance, Swan Creek, was scheduled for a chip seal, I think this year with the game fishing parks, but that's getting held back till next year, to see if they come back into the picture with the funding agreement. That's 8 miles of chip sealing that would be contractor services, and that would be in the services and fees number. And there is so much wrong that it's going to take time to really analyze it and come up with some factual numbers that where are we going? What are we going to do? There's no doubt in my mind that the road by Steve Zabel's and Mark Stickelmeyer's, if I knew the distance back of that major wet water line, that could be a road construction project, and a general understanding that, hey, we're providing that region which is high in grain production with a Class A #1 road that isn't going to blow out like it did this year. But that takes time to put plans together. It takes time for the impact stuff, like, is the wet water line far enough back to where we can allow some cuts and fills? And that all takes time, and normally over the winter is. I'm rambling on a lot, and I don't know what the hell to tell you people on money, but
Well, why don't we change your service and fees from 19 to 200,000
And leave the rest.
and leave the rest? Leave major equipment at 350,000, and you get with, whoever you need to get to, and we'll publish this, and we may have to change it before we get done.
Yeah.
Gary, I got one quick question. If you're gonna increase services and fees, and that, just because I don't know the answer to this, would your highway supplies and materials be able to be reduced if you're bringing in other services and fees?
Supplies and materials is, Becky, disagree if you feel the need. The supplies and materials are, diesel fuel, for the trucks, trailers, diesel engines. Supplies and materials, could be if we buy Colbix, for our own use, those incidental items.
Okay.
I think if we crush gravel, that would be, if we spend 300,000, I'll just grab a number out of the sky for gravel crushing, that comes out of supplies and materials.
Okay. I was just curious if some of those,
Yes,
I was just curious if some of those services and fees, if they're providing the product, if that would be included in there, or if that's just the labor to do that project.
If we would, enter into a project and I'll say it again, since I'm Woodbridge, I'm gonna say KL Road. If we hire a consulting firm to put plans together, then it's, the plans indicate it's gonna take, I'm grabbing numbers, people, 10,000 tons of base course to go over the top. That isn't supplies and materials, that's part of a project.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
In response to your question, if you're doing a project and there's a line item quantity for gravel or asphalt, that's included in the project and not taken from the budget.
Okay.
All right, let's just leave it that way.
Okay, we'll do that, and we'll publish that, and we may have to change it later.
So, what are you thinking? You're gonna tap into county general?
I hope not.
Well, I don't think that's our intentions. I mean, I think we still should be able to look at, aren't we supposed to be getting some money from the state? I mean, I'm sure it's not here yet, is it?
for what?
356,000? We can use that for anything, can't we?
I believe so.
I don't know when we're gonna receive it, but.
You know, what is that cable thing gonna do? You know, is that gonna go? We spot gobbled the worst spots. The damage was there was pictures taken of the road damage. The bad spots were gobbled. It's all recorded. And you know where I'm going. That there's some stuff coming up that are gonna need some funding, but the bottom line is, for the last 30 years, the highway department, whether it was me or whether it was Bill Dahlquist or who it was given X amount of dollars, and it's like, this is yours. Don't put us in a situation where we become a red county.
Yeah.
Kevin, you mentioned that you thought you found $600,000.
Well, that's gonna depend a lot on, next month, whether that's gonna happen or not.
So you're not at liberty to say where the source is, and
I would rather not say right now.
okay, I won't hold you to that, so. I got bottles to fill, people.
All right,
Thank you,
I
Gary.
didn't help much today,
Nope.
thanks, Gary.
but
Bye.
those automatically bleep?
I have a question. We've never looked into that additional road levy that is available. Is there a reason why not?
Isn't we gotta do that, what, in July or
I
something?
mention it every year, yeah, but you have to have it adopted by July. That would help in the situation that we're in with the roads.
So technically, we would do it, look at that in July of 21,
By July.
You'd have to have it
by July of
adopted
21,
by-
and then it would be assessed in 22.
So what does that entail? Do you
the
know?
details on that.
That
Additional road
additional
levy.
road levy?
I think it's kind of like an opt-out, and I think you can do it, and then it would be up to the voters if they wanted to bring it to a vote. I'm not sure if there's a limit as to what your levy can be on an opt-out. Do you know how do you all know how we lost the secondary road levy? There used to always be a secondary road levy. Do you know how? Back in 1996, they had excess money in the road and highway fund.
Yeah.
So they decided to use that up, and so they didn't put on a levy for 1997. During the 1996 legislative session, the legislature passed the tax freeze,
Okay.
which says you can only go up 3% or CPI, whichever is lower. I believe this year it's 1.7, something like that.
I think so.
1.7 is CPI. So your taxes are what you can ask for is controlled. You can only ask for like 1.7% plus growth. I'm not sure what the growth for the county is. So anyway, they passed this tax freeze. So from then on, because they had levied zero for the secondary road levy, they could never levy again. So you'd have to opt out to get that road levy back.
The growth was 0.34 and CPI is 1.7.
So you can only go up about 5%, right around in there.
5.7, no,
About 2.1.
yeah,
1.7 and
0.34.
0.34, I thought, okay, yeah. So you have that's,
We'll have to do some research on that.
I need you to remember that your assessment went down this year, especially in ag land.
Is there some, well, Gary mentioned it, I heard it before too, somebody was telling me about there's some relief fund from the COVID deal on a federal grant.
That's the
That's what I'm talking about.
356,000.
356,000.
Did we apply for that yet, or?
We've got we adopted the resolution and signed the agreement and everything, and we gotta submit the claims. I've been working on that. I think most of it we can recoup in the fact that they'll cover sheriff department salaries. It doesn't mean the money has to go there, but we have to just submit.
He said he was told there's some specific for road repair.
I don't know about that. There was gonna be money, and to be spent how we want to, but.
That CARES Act, I don't think it tells you where you have to spend the money.
And
I don't know.
Might be something more to check into.
I don't know, I guess I never heard of that one.
Yeah.
If that's what Gary's talking about.
So,
Okay, so we're changing the services and fees to 200,000, leaving the rest at this time.
Well, what I guess I'm not quite understanding when Gary was carrying on about the highway supplies and materials. I mean, we got that, when Mary and you asked that, we're at 400,000. I mean, if it's diesel fuel and everything, they've had to have spent more than $12,771 already.
You want me to go run what's been spent out of there so far?
Well, I mean, looking at that, I mean,
That's why I asked the question, if there was some of that got cost shared to that other side, because
they put something out in the right place, I mean, because
we're not showing that we're spent that much in this year's budget so far on supplies, and we've had to spend way more than $12,000 on.
when he said what it was, fuel, and that, they had to have gone through more than $12,000 of fuel.
They sure spent more than that just in trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Well, something must not be quite right there, because in 18 we were 528,000, and 19 we were 300,000. I just wonder if, is that one of the deals where they, towards the end of the year, where they transfer money out of this year account?
Well, I think that's what he's doing, is he's trying to just do as many cars as he can and then move everything around.
Different things to cover the
year.
So his expenses out of supplies so far is $96,367.24. This doesn't include August expenses, and when we did those transfers that he wanted done, we had to move a bunch from secondary roads into the supplies, so that's why your number looks so low there, because it reduced.
Oh, that reduced that number,
Yeah, when those transfers were done.
So where does that show up then in the secondary road, as far as that expense, 61,000? Is that why that's high?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so those two, the snow expense and the secondary road expense, that's the amounts that reduced the highway supplies. So that's where your difference is at. But they actually have spent 96,000 on supplies so far.
So they have the option or the ability to move from secondary road or different funds to different accounts?
If the expenses were spent there.
Okay.
He just keeps track of it, and this time he did a quarterly transfer. Usually it's an annual transfer.
I guess that was part of my question, was during the discussion on the supplies and materials, and I think I understood him correctly, and like crushed gravel would fall under that.
It falls under supplies because it's getting gravel for us.
Right. So I mean, that would be a number there that would be a big increase if we do a big crush, because we don't have any gravel. Do we know, we're being funded for the most part off of the wheel tax, do we know what that dollar amount is?
Here's what I'm in here for, it won't take but 2 minutes. Because I probably already know the answer, but are you gonna give me a raise? That's what I thought. Anyway, I told you I was gonna bring it back, and I just wanted to know for sure whether you were gonna consider it or not. So.
Right this time, it looks like it's gonna be tough for anything.
Well, that's kind of the way it's sounding. Okay, that's what I really wanted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, wheel tax or the motor B licenses, that's the money you're asking about, right? So far we received it in $555,769 this year. I put estimated revenue in there of $800,000 based on the past. 17 was 800, 18 was 833, last year was 19 was 832. So I've built in 800,000 in the estimated revenue.
So where does the other $1 million come from?
There's STP funds. Here, I'll just let you just look at this. My estimated revenue for the highway.
What does the STP stand for?
Surface Transportation Program.
Is that state funds or federal funds or?
STP is.
On here, the Surface Transportation Program funds, actual revenue for 2019 was $248,881. 248,881. 2018 was 487,000.
So actually, we're still dipping into the general fund anyway.
That's why I don't see how we're not, because we're coming up with 1.8,
1.8, we're
almost
almost
1.9, and I'm seeing 820, and I'm seeing $1 million.
Looks like it's state.
That is state.
So we're already into like 300,000.
Looks like our total licenses and permits, total intergovernmental revenue source for 2019 was 1.3 million. Almost 1.4.
For licenses and.
No, that's the Surface Transportation Program, bank franchise tax, motor vehicle licenses, state highway fund, entry fees, port of entry fees, prorated port of entry fees. There's secondary road MV remittances, that was 208,019. 63.75% of 4% mobile home. Is that somebody buys a mobile home, they get charged a sales tax and coming in? Is that what that means?
I'm not really sure.
It's kind of a weird deal. It's only $5,000, but it's
something they have going in the.
R&D motor fuel tax, so you get $4,000 out of that. But I mean, our revenue source is way below what we're spending.
Okay, so your SCP total is that the 248?
That was 248,881 in 2019. Our total revenue from intergovernmental revenue sources for 2019 was 1.372 million. So to go up and
We're still at.
if we increase this highway service fees to 200,000, we're going to be pushing our budget at 2.1 million. And we've got 1.4 million coming in.
That's with the license. And the wheel tax.
So without being able to come up with some other funds or the ability to generate other funds, we're going to be digging into the general fund. Big time. Which we evidently are doing that every year.
Penny always told us she didn't get any money on the general.
No. The only transfers that I do from the general fund to road and bridge is when they do snow removal and stuff up here at the courthouse.
So where does like last year, as an example, in 2019, the total road and bridge budget was 1.729 million expended. And according to this, our revenue for 2019 was 1.372 million.
There
So
was
where
road
did-
and bridge cash on hand.
So that's where it come out of the road and bridge cash?
Yeah. That's why.
So the road
That's
and
where-
bridge cash is just evidently just getting less and less and less?
Yes. And that's where you want to look at this second to last page, provisional budget. That'll show how much you would need. The top line, cash balance applied.
$578,000 is taken out. Make up the difference.
But that's not with the new numbers either.
Actually, if we increase services and fees, that's gonna have to go up to $778,000 basically.
And here's their current balance total with their restricted and unrestricted, right now. But like I said, a lot of that's restricted for secondary roads, snow, and HBR.
If we put 700,000 over there, that's half of that.
No, that's total money that they have. If you're gonna approve a budget of 1.8, you're gonna find that other money somewhere else, which would be the general fund, which can't really handle it either. Of course, you know, in that estimated revenue, there's some grant funding that I don't build in because you never know. They might cancel it, or we might get some that they just randomly approve. We're probably gonna get some funds from FEMA.
But it's hard
But-
to, you can't budget that.
I don't, because that's not a smart thing to do. You don't wanna build something in that's not guaranteed.
We could make it look like we tried to balance the budget by putting that number in grants and
You could.
I think we're gonna have to take and run with this, publish this, and sit down with Jerry and try to get through all these individual numbers somehow.
That's all he's got left, so pull 700,000 out of it, that's half of it.
No, that's, if you're talking a 1.8 or 1.9 budget, then you're gonna need 200,000 on top of what's in there.
Road and Bridge has 874,000 cash in it.
No, if you look down below, that, restricted cash looks like it should be higher than the,
Okay. Restricted cash is 617.
no, that's what I'm saying, like, look down below. Restricted for secondary roads is 864, restricted for snow removal is 158, HBR is 1290. Assigned to next year's budget, that number's in there right now, but that'll change. So if you take these two add them up.
626, okay.
That's what is unrestricted. Or
Yeah.
all road and bridge funds are restricted, but that's what's not designated for these purposes. Now, if you guys could make a transfer out of there, I don't know, that'd be something you have to talk to Gary about.
So this is our total revenues that are available out of the different restricted funds. Is that
This is the total balance
okay?
available.
Okay. Similar to my budget. Not enough cash to meet the expenses.
Well, is that what we're gonna do, is leave Gary's way it is then? With the change?
One change to service and fee. I would think he would be able to cut that down some if he did have another full-time employee and another truck. He wouldn't have to contract as much out. I don't know how much he could save, but
Okay, I will put the 200 in.
Is there any other changes anywhere else we're talking about?
We had pretty much approved everybody else's budget already, I think.
I thought so. Is that what we're gonna publish that, this is where we have it changed? Done before?
the only thing I thought we were gonna discuss is landfill workers yet. Wages. Other than that, I think we're pretty much.
Okay, what do you wanna discuss on the salary?
I don't know. At one time, they were equal with highway workers, what Gary told me. He said when Bill Dalkus was landfill supervisor, he said, you walk in the shop down there and he'll say, we're short a guy at landfill, you go to landfill today. You got paid the same wages as the highway department. I don't know how we got off. But on the other hand, we also said no raises this year, so. Like I've said before, if we don't do it this year, it's gonna come up again next year, and
Yeah, who knows? I'm sure somebody can dig back and try to figure out how that happened. Who knows when, you know?
well, it must have happened sometime after Gary was.
After Gary left, so it'd been what, 12 years ago?
How is it?
I know what we said about raises, but I mean, I don't know why we should punish some workers.
I see it more of a correction than a raise.
And then if that's a correction, why isn't Dib's a correction? And then if we open that can of worms, it just snowball effect.
That's good.
Last year, when Gary took over, he wanted Gerald Fiedler to make the same as Jerry Costers because they're doing the same job, and that was approved with no question.
So I don't know, I've had calls both ways. They're not required to have a CDL, are they, Vicki?
No,
For whatever reason, how it ever got changed, it makes absolutely no sense why they shouldn't be within reason to the highway department. And you said it, Jim, we're gonna have this same, if we don't do something, it isn't mattering which year it's gonna be.
Right. If we give and I think we, like last year, we went a dollar amount instead of a percent. If we give everybody a 50-cent raise next year, the same thing's gonna come up.
Of course it is, it can never get better.
No.
If somebody could figure out exactly how to do it without, I don't know whether it's hurting people's feelings, but, it's, no matter how you look at it, I mean, there's no reason why them guys are as low as what they are. They're at that landfill. Ryan should have done it years ago, we shouldn't even be having this conversation.
No, I know we did say there was no raises. That falls into that.
How would you do that? How would you ever make things equal? When you would give raises to the rest of the people, then let's say you give it 1.5%. So if you try to get these landfill within reason to the highway department, so then you would give them a 3% raise or a 4% raise. We'd be in the same boat. Then they'd say, well, why would you give them a bigger raise than us? So how are you ever gonna make things better in that department?
You never will.
It's not possible.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew how we got off, or why. What? It had to be something this board done, and none of us were sitting on there.
Oh, absolutely not, none of us are.
But
And I guess I look at it from the standpoint, same like Kevin is, I don't know that I look at it as a raise, I look at it as a correction. To get them back to where everybody else is on that same level. But
I don't see however you could ever done it, even if you would, like I said, even if you would just give a little bit more, then you'd be looking like favoritism. So I don't know how you'd ever do it if you wouldn't just do it, because for whatever reason it got out of whack. I'll be honest, I guess Deb was here probably the longest, and if you guys don't remember how this happened, I mean, you should have been here.
I'm sure I was, I just don't remember how that might have happened.
That had to have happened when landfill went under its own umbrella at some point.
Well, it was already under its own umbrella, I believe, when I started.
well, I think Dahlquist was superintendent of both,
And Gary was too.
and Gary was too, and then I don't know who took over after Gary left.
Penny.
Penny,
At highway, but not at landfill.
Yeah,
No.
she did.
she was doing
Was she
both.
landfill for a
And
while?
I think shortly after she took over, then she hired Ryan, and then he was made a superintendent kind of thing, and then it completely separated.
I really think it probably started happening 10 years ago when new employees were hired. They might have been started at a lower rate wage and then never probation, I don't know, but Paul's been there 10 years and was making 16 something an hour before he was promoted.
I just don't understand that because when Gary hires a new blade operator, he's hired at that already set figure. How did we,
I don't know, I have no
That needs
idea.
to get changed, in my mind, that whole handbook needs to get,
being they don't have CDLs,
I don't think that's in the handbook.
I don't,
I think you guys said that every year.
that's another requirement the highway department's gotta have to pass that. Do you do random drug and alcohol checks at the landfill?
That just never has been done, I've never understood it myself.
And the highway department does.
And we,
And the sheriff's office does.
I've always thought it should have been done out there.
What's that?
I've always thought it should be done out there.
should be done with every county employee.
Yeah, but we can't mandate that because I don't remember which,
Why can't we?
because they're not our employee. Let's use Jamie's office. We cannot mandate that he drug and alcohol tests.
As a county employee,
I think you can because we did it in the city.
I think you might be.
Yeah.
I would think you can't mandate who he hires, but you can mandate, because we're paying them, we can mandate that they get checked over that.
I
You might
think
not
we
be
do.
able to random drug test the elected officials, but you should. be able
Everyone
to.
Right.
else you should be able to.
Right.
I would think any of the employees themselves, I would say that they can be checked, that the county, the commission can
I think it
authorize
says
that.
something about equipment. I'd have to look at personnel. It says something about that.
Being they don't have the same requirements as I'm just asking because I'm not saying what way I'd go. And they don't have the same job requirements and like CDL and stuff, we do it $1 behind the highway employees.
But they also have to get shots all the time because of all the hazardous waste they're walking around in. And
That's covered under their medical, isn't it?
well, the county pays for their CDLs.
They do. I don't know what to, I don't, there is no easy answer here.
Plus, they do work holidays. They work, during the summer, Monday through Saturday. I don't know. It's gonna be up to you guys.
I'm gonna make a motion that we consider publishing the 2021 provisional bid budget according to what we currently have listed.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I will second it.
I have a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Old business. Yes.
Jamie came in my office and asked if we had gotten anybody out there to fix the dirt pile, and thinks that we should have that completed before we pay the final payment. I did talk to Lucas, and he said to remove $1,000 from their final payment to cover somebody else going and fixing it. But Jamie thinks we need to get somebody out there as soon as possible. What do you guys want to do about that?
You guys better speak it because that part that could involve me, so you guys better talk about it. Whichever you want to do, because you want to hire somebody.
How much are we looking at?
I told you a figure before that I figured it would be.
Which was what?
I had said something probably around $500. But Lucas had told her, take 1,000.
Sounds good to me. Let's get it done with and get it off the.
Well, who do you want me to have do it, though?
Whoever you can.
You're the highway or you're the landfill supervisor.
The reason I'm asking is because it would be easy just to have Scott come out there when he has time, but because he's a commissioner, I want you guys
Well,
to tell me.
in my mind, he'd have to come out as an employee for showing excavating, not
Right. But if you guys are okay with him doing it, then that's who I'm gonna contact.
Get it done.
Maybe if you, maybe just make a few calls and see who could get there the soonest. That's just a suggestion.
Okay,
As long as they get it done under.
When can you get there?
$1,000.
when can you get there?
I called Jensen's too and see when they could.
I will, but when can you get there, so I'm not out of the question?
I would think, I know not for next week.
Okay,
It's just a matter of just going there.
okay.
I have one other thing.
Yes,
Just this jail issue, I am going to Mobridge City Council meeting tonight at 5:30. Everybody's still on board about seeing if Mobridge has an issue about that, having it over there. Just so one step out of the way of checking into more stuff. I was in Pier all day yesterday, so.
I guess that's kind of what we said the other day, we gotta check into it.
Yeah,
See
check
out
out
what you guys all thought.
Okay.
Anything else? Old business, I mean, new business.
Hearing that, move for adjournment.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
1 second.
I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.